Emotional intelligence, your path to personal growth. Emotional intelligence, EQ, represents our ability to recognize, understand, and manage our emotions while effectively interpreting and responding to the emotions of others. Unlike IQ, which remains relatively fixed, EQ can be developed and strengthened throughout life. Research consistently shows that EQ is a stronger predictor of life success than cognitive intelligence alone. People with high emotional intelligence excel in personal relationships, leadership positions, and overall life satisfaction. The four pillars of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management, form the foundation for authentic connections and personal growth. By developing these components, you can transform how you navigate both personal and professional relationships. Understanding emotional awareness. Recognition. Identifying emotions as they occur. Understanding. Knowing what triggers specific feelings. Integration. Using emotional awareness in daily life. Emotional self-awareness begins with the ability to recognize feelings in real time. Practice pausing throughout your day to ask, what am I feeling right now? Name the emotion specifically, whether it's frustration, joy, anxiety, or contentment, rather than using vague terms like good or bad. Mindfulness meditation offers a powerful tool for developing emotional awareness. By observing thoughts and feelings without judgment, you create space between emotional triggers and your responses. This practice strengthens the neural pathways associated with self-reflection and emotional regulation. The science of empathy. Cognitive empathy. Understanding another's perspective. Emotional empathy. Feeling what others feel. Compassionate empathy. Taking action to help others. The discovery of mirror neurons revolutionized our understanding of empathy. These specialized brain cells activate both when we perform an action and when we observe someone else performing that same action. This neurological mirroring creates the foundation for understanding others' experiences. Empathy varies significantly across cultures, with some societies emphasizing collective emotional understanding while others prioritize individual emotional expression. However, the capacity for empathy appears universally in humans, suggesting its evolutionary importance for social cooperation and survival. Developing self-regulation. Pause. Create space before reacting. Identify. Name the emotion you're feeling. Choose. Select a thoughtful response. Act. Respond with intention. Self-regulation allows us to navigate emotional turbulence without being overwhelmed. The 5-5-5 breathing technique, inhaling for 5 seconds, holding for 5 seconds, and exhaling for 5 seconds, can quickly activate your parasympathetic nervous system, bringing emotional balance in challenging moments. Building emotional resilience requires consistent practice. Start by identifying your emotional triggers and developing specific strategies for each. For example, if criticism triggers defensiveness, prepare a mental script to help you receive feedback constructively rather than reactively. Active listening skills. Hear the words. Process the literal content. Notice emotions. Observe tone and feelings. Reflect back. Validate understanding. Active listening transforms superficial interactions into meaningful exchanges. True listening involves giving your complete attention to the speaker, both to their words and to the emotions beneath those words. This means eliminating distractions like phones, mental to-do lists, or preparing your response while they're still speaking. Nonverbal communication often reveals more than words alone. Pay attention to facial expressions, body posture, and tone of voice. These signals can highlight discrepancies between what someone says and what they truly feel, allowing you to respond to their authentic experience rather than just their words. Emotional intelligence in relationships. Connection through understanding. Validate others' emotional experiences before offering solutions or advice. Simple phrases like, "That sounds really difficult," create psychological safety. Conflict management. Address emotional undercurrents in disagreements by acknowledging feelings first. This reduces defensiveness and opens pathways to resolution. Emotional safety. Create environments where authentic emotional expression is welcomed without judgment, fostering deeper intimacy and trust. Emotionally intelligent relationships thrive on mutual validation and understanding. During conflicts, the emotionally intelligent approach involves addressing feelings before facts. When someone knows their emotions are recognized and respected, they become more open to finding solutions rather than defending positions. Practical empathy exercises. The 3-minute pause. Set aside 3 minutes daily to check in with your emotional state. Identify what you're feeling, where you feel it in your body, and what might be influencing these emotions. Perspective journal. After disagreements, write about the situation from the other person's perspective. Include their possible feelings, motivations, and constraints to develop cognitive empathy. Media empathy. When watching films or reading books, pause to deeply consider how different characters might be feeling. This builds empathy muscles in a low-stakes environment. Active observation. In public spaces, practice observing others' emotional states through body language and expressions without making assumptions or judgments. Consistent practice strengthens neural pathways associated with empathy and emotional awareness. Even 5 minutes of daily meditation focusing on compassion can measurably increase empathetic responses and decrease stress reactions in challenging interpersonal situations. Overcoming emotional challenges. Identify triggers. Recognize situations, people, or thoughts that consistently evoke strong emotional reactions. Explore patterns. Look for recurring themes in emotional responses to uncover root causes. Develop strategies. Create specific plans for managing difficult emotions when triggered. Practice and refine. Implement strategies consistently and adjust as needed. Emotional healing often requires acknowledging past wounds. Unresolved trauma or persistent negative experiences can create entrenched emotional patterns that feel impossible to break. Recognizing that these patterns once served as protection can help you approach them with compassion rather than criticism. Building emotional resilience involves developing a tolerance for uncomfortable feelings. Rather than avoiding difficult emotions, practice sitting with them non-judgmentally. This gradually reduces their intensity and allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. Your emotional intelligence journey. Awareness building. Begin with developing self-awareness through regular reflection practices. Notice patterns in your emotional responses and identify areas for growth. Skill development. Actively practice specific emotional intelligence skills like active listening, emotional labeling, and empathy exercises in daily interactions. Integration and mastery. Apply emotional intelligence naturally across different contexts. Share your learning with others and continue refining your emotional awareness. Remember that emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey rather than a destination. Set specific, measurable goals for your development, perhaps practicing active listening in 3 conversations per week or journaling about your emotions for 10 minutes daily. Embrace vulnerability as an essential component of emotional growth. Opening yourself to authentic emotional experiences, even when uncomfortable, creates opportunities for deeper connections and more meaningful relationships. Your willingness to be vulnerable inspires others to do the same.